we're talking this week about how to get your Aretha Franklin type estate plan done. And Aretha, as you know, had you may not have known, had like tens of millions of dollars, had plenty of do re mi, and she could carry a tune, but she also had 3 attempts at doing a will. And my understanding is she did these all by hand. And when you look at them, they do look like notes that you would be doing, plotting out who gets what. That's for sure. But do they meet the requirements? Not in a million years, they don't meet the requirements, but that's okay. Because if you got enough money and enough lawyers and enough probate court time, right, you can get a jury to agree on what means what. Well, okay, for you, by the time they got through the first couple of pre-trials and motion practice, there wouldn't be anything left. But fortunately for the lawyers, at least, Aretha had plenty of money to fund the litigation and scrape it off the top, and we're all grateful to her. But eventually, they constructed out of these 3 versions who got what, and it wasn't as easy as a divide by 4. She had 4 sons. It wasn't easy. It wasn't that easy. So here's what I'm suggesting to you: that right now, today, and if you're just tuning in, you play catch up here, okay? The first thing you got to do is who controls my stuff, not who uses it, not who gets it. That's not the first question. First question is who's in charge, and it should be one person. I see so many estate plans. I mean, almost all of the ones we see coming in, they've got 2 trustees or 2 executors or co-executors. Gosh, stop it, will you please? Pick one person. All right. So the idea is you're on the airplane, it's going down, you got 30 seconds. Who's your phone a friend? Who do you call to give your password so they can manage your money? Who is that? Quick, 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 write it down. And then go 2, 3, 4, because that person's on the plane next to you, and then who's your next one? Who's your next one? The next is you're in a horrific accident, you're in the ambulance, your eyes flutter open, the EMT says, he's awake. Quick, who do you want to talk to your doctors? All right, who's making medical decisions for you? And then you say a name, and they're right next to you in that other gurney. Who's your next choice? Who's your next choice? Get 4 of those people. All right, but put yourself in that. I gotta decide now. Don't put it off. Don't. I gotta think about it. No, you don't gotta think about it. You, you don't gotta think about it. The plane's about to hit the ocean. You ain't got time to think about it. Not anymore. Quick, say who it's going to be, and then finally, now you do have time to think about it because now you're dead, right? And the question is, who's arranging your funeral? Who's going to dispose of your earthly remains, your carcass? Who's going to do that? Okay, you get to choose. You actually get to choose. It doesn't have to be a committee meeting of all your next of kin. Oh no, it can be whoever you want. So let's exercise our dominion and authority and decide. All right. So now we've got all the players, and we've got a deep bench. So if one of them's not available, we got the next one. Now we're good to go. Next question: who gets your stuff? Well, you might think oh, I don't have to do that. It's all going to my wife. No, it ain't. Or my husband. No, it isn't. It is not. That is not true. That is a fallacy. All right. All right. You're going to be splitting it with they're going to be splitting it with your folks if you got folks. If you have kids and they're different kids, right? Different marriages and stuff like that, they might be splitting it with the kids. You don't say who gets what. Right? Is that what you want it to happen? Well, maybe it is. But if it is, you better put it in writing. Otherwise, you're going to make the lawyers as rich as Aretha did. You don't want that. Well, maybe you do want that. I don't know. But I would suggest that you do not. You want things to go nice and smooth so people aren't fighting and arguing and all the rest of this mishigas. Okay. So now goes to the spouse. If spouse not alive, goes to the kids, divided equally because we like all the kids. And then there's all kinds of permutations on that. I want to tithe to the church. I want to give this to this one and that to that one and all that kind of stuff. All right. That's a little bit beyond the, writing on the vomit bag as the airplane goes down, estate plan. Okay. It's a little bit different, a little bit more involved, but that's okay. I mean, we can get as complex as you want. Now there you do need to think about it. Okay. But something's better than nothing. So if you want it to go to your spouse and not your parents, you better write down that it goes to the spouse. If you want it to go to your kids and not her kids, or divide between the kids and all that mess. Write it down. Write it down. Now, here's the thing. Let's assume I'm going to skip over and with the assuming, we assume things away uh, because that's a big part of it. That it's tough to do as the airplane's going down. Who gets what, right? Other than all to my spouse, all to my kids, or equally to my kids, that kind of thing. The next question is, how do your kids get it? And now this is way beyond what you can do on the airplane heading for the ocean. You can't do this, but here's what you need to be thinking about before you come to one of the workshops, right, where we'll get serious about it. And that is, how do your kids get the money? See, everybody's doing these. Oh, I avoided probate because I have a beneficiary designation. I took care of all that. I got beneficiary designation. Yeah, what if the beneficiary dies? Then what? Oh, you meant to disinherit your grandkids, huh? Did you really? Huh. Interesting. I bet you didn't. I bet you didn't, but maybe you did. Maybe you did. Maybe that was on purpose. Probably not, though. Okay. So that's part of it. Okay. So you got to be thinking about that. Then, next step, how do you make sure that the money actually gets to the kids? See, this is the disaster, repeated disaster with with estate plan, especially now, with all the college debt that's out there, with all the run up. It didn't used to be that people were totally in debt. It didn't used to be that way. It's that way now. So you leave someone an inheritance, chances are, I don't know what the chances are, but I would say they're good. Let's just say, I'll get the statistics on that, but the chances are pretty good. They got a judgment out there against them, or creditors hounding them, or something like this, right? And so if you leave the money to the kid directly, now the creditor can get it. The ex-spouse can get it. The credit card company can get it. The student loan people can get it. Bankruptcy, whatever. Did you really, is that what you wanted? Is that what you want? Well, maybe it is. Maybe you say, oh, if my ex-daughter-in-law, she's better than my kid. So, you know, better, I mean, granddaughter, whatever, give to her. What? Did you I mean, is that really what you had in mind? Um, when you're leaving stuff to your kids or to your spouse or whatever, maybe your spouse is in the long-term care. Okay. Maybe we should be thinking about that, thinking about reality. Okay. So you're not done. This is my point. You're not done when you say this person gets this and that person gets that and that person gets the other thing. The real question is, how do they get it? Did they get it in a way that it's protected for them, not protected from them? All right. And if you do it right, man, it just works beautiful. And your wishes get fulfilled, honored, as Aretha's eventually did, at least to the best they could figure out, right? So if you do this stuff, if you be thinking about it like this, you're going to be so far ahead of everybody else, it won't be funny.